Hello everybody and welcome back to some more SevTech Ages of the Sky. In this episode we will get out of Age 0 and into Age 1. So I did quite a bit of stuff off camera. Grew up some of the cedar trees there. I left that one because it looks quite pleasing, so I'm going to be leaving that one there as a part of my base. And I bred up some buffaloes and killed some of them off to get their teeth so that I could make the gear, so that I could get the millstone, so that I could get the porcelain and or grout and yeah, all that good stuff. So just keep my safety buffaloes in a 3x3, and with one open, like one stepping stair here, I can actually, if I breed them and I keep the weed on me, I can lure the baby buffalo out on the one space step, whereas the big buffalo actually need 3. All 3 would have to be lowered for them to be able to escape. So just 2, the horse would be able to get out there, but I don't care about them. They're so spammy in this pack, it's unbelievable. I've killed off tons and tons of horses. So while I was out there, I did some searching around and flying on my Volar kite and had a good comedy of errors learning how that thing works. Lots of times, flying and then ending up below the level of the islands and then not being able to get back up, and then having the opposite problem of being too high and mistiming my letting go, not landing in the water properly, or just misjudging the height and dying because of that. So I have now 8 deaths to my name. So lots of count up on the counters there. So 1 death was between episodes 2 and 3, which I told you about, getting bounced around, pinballed by a couple of creepers, which I didn't see. And then 6 other deaths were just strictly due to the Volar kite. And then one other one, I was sitting on a big pillar watching Shoggoths, and I'll show you guys about that there a little bit later, but watching Shoggoths wreck an entire island full of creatures and monsters, which I actually got a ton of fish and bones out of that deal. Was pretty good reward, but one of the Shoggoths had spotted me, climbed up my pillar, knocked me off, and then I got finished off by something down on the ground level. So whole bunch of deaths there. So let's just get into what I went over. So the Nature's Compass is a must-make in this pack so that you can find your biomes. This is made with some saplings, wood, and a piece of flaked bone. Nothing too serious there. And then it'll list off all the biome types. If you want to find a birch forest hills M, you just hit search, and so the status on this one is not found, so it's searching in a 10,000 block radius, and it did not find this biome. So this is particularly useful in Age 0 because we do need to find the Darklands. So Darklands Forest, Darklands Highland, Darklands Mountains, or the Plains. So I was originally started looking for the Plains because I don't want to have to deal with trees and stuff like that obscuring my vision. So like this is a Darklands, but with the little village and a lot of water on that island, it wasn't super suited for what I was looking for. So I eventually looked for the regular Darklands, and that's where I went and fought my shadow beasts to get the shadow gems, which we need to make the flame grilled Wopper. So in the thumbnail of the video, I built myself a little shelter thing and put a totem pole outside. And on the totem pole, I chose pig for luck. So hopefully that would increase the amount of shadow gems that I got. It didn't. And in hindsight, I would replace pig with ocelot to stop creepers from exploding, because at one point a creeper exploded, destroyed my totem base, and then the rest of my totem didn't work anymore. So replace pig with ocelot. Wolf gives you strength. Cow will give you resistance, but it will also slow you down. So maybe you can pair that with horse to give you a little bit of speed and offset the slowness of the cow. Enderman, so that I could see in the darkness, not totally necessary. And spider as a way to quickly egress, so I could climb up my totem pole up to the top if I needed to get away from mobs. It can be a little bit annoying, especially if you've got a little shelter built up, because you will automatically climb even though you don't want to. So that was how I built that one. You can increase the number of wolves or cows if you want more strength or resistance as necessary, or build multiple totems in your battle area, however you want to do that. So next we went on, so we made the wooden gear. So I chopped down the cedar trees, got the cedar planks, killed the buffaloes, got the buffalo teeth, made the wooden gear. We need the wooden gear for the hand crank for the millstone. So just some cobble sticks in that gear, and then the millstone itself, just some stone, the grindstone that I had inside there, and then a stone slab. So this little guy here does need 3 open sides to work. So if I just pick him up and throw him in the corner, we can see it says blocked, and it says the millstone has too many solid blocks around it. That's because it's can't be in a corner. You have to have 3 open sides. So the hand crank can go down on any adjacent block to it. I like putting it on top because it compartmentalizes it a little bit better, makes it a little bit neat. Each use of the millstone takes up saturation and or food, so make sure that you have lots of food before going into this, and then hopefully by now you've got multiple different kinds of foods so you can work on building up your nutrition mod. Because of all the times that I died while I was out there, all of that got reset, so I'm kind of slowly building back up again now. But yeah, I maybe was up to about 80% on protein and had my fruit and my vegetables up in close to 50 maybe, but yeah, I lost all that with the deaths. Didn't lose my levels, of course. We went over that before. So next we are going to show the advancements because so talked about getting the flame grilled Wopper, and then to get out of the age we need the melter and the heater. There are 2 different kinds that we can make. One is made out of seared bricks, and the other is made out of porcelain. So if we look at the recipes here, 1 sand, 1 clay, and 1 gravel will give us 2 grout, and then 1 flint, 1 clay, and 1 white dye powder, which you can get by grinding down bone meal. So you grind down bones to get bone shards will give you bone meal will give you white dye powder. So it's a lot of grinding on there. That's why we got the horsepower things set up. That'll give us the unfired porcelain. Mathing it out, the accessories like the frame grilled Wopper, stone grill, primal chest advance are all the same between the 2, but each seared brick requires 4 seared bricks, and each seared brick is made by melting up 1 piece of grout. So the recipe is twice as intensive because each porcelain brick is just 1 unfired porcelain there, but each grout gives us 2. So it's twice as expensive on the items that you need to make it. However, these are pretty easy to get from the strainer as well, whereas the bone meal to get the white dye powder might be a little bit more intensive. So it just depends on your spawn and how much adventuring you've been doing and how much bone you have or how much access you have to the white dye powder to make what you want. Either will work, you just can't mix them. You can't have a seared heater on top of a porcelain melter. So I have gone ahead and pre-crafted everything that I need. These clay barrel extensions, pretty easy. You just fire up an unfired clay barrel extension, which is just 6 clay, and that will give you 2, which is what you need for the recipe. So was pretty easy there. And then you will want a casting basin. You don't actually need it until you get into the first stage when you start melting up some of the metals, but can't hurt to look at it here. It's just 7 in a formation like this, and then the last thing we'll need is a faucet to pour out of the melter, but it's not available in 0, so I can't even see the recipe for it yet until I advance the age. So I have everything all pre-crafted up here. It'll just take me a couple of seconds to throw it all together, and we will advance the age together. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention. So when I was hunting for the shadow beasts, I do make sure that I collect up quite a bit of this stuff. So I ended up with 3 full shadow gems from fighting 2 of the big monsters. 20 medium size and 30 small ones. These 2 I need for doing some of the blood magic stuff in age 1, so I like to have quite a bit of those, but you can also compress 9 of the tiny into the medium and then 9 of the medium into the big in a pinch if you're too afraid to fight the big shadow beasts, which can be pretty scary to fight. They've got a breath attack that blinds you and does some damage over time, and then their actual attack is pretty devastating. So important not to get hit with their regular attack. Their breath attack you can take, but you definitely want to kite any of their regular attacks. So the flame grilled Wopper, not only is it used to make the melter, but you can also use it to automate some of these the kiln and the grill if you want. You just put a chest down and then get in behind, sneak, and right click on the chest, and it will hopper into that chest and it will act as a heat source above it, so you wouldn't need the low-grade charcoal below it. So just a use for some of those if you've got some extra large shadow gems lying around, or if you really want to automate the kiln. You can. I've never found it necessary in the original one, and likewise I won't be doing it here in the Skyblock version. Alright, so I crafted up the grill and the melter, and now for the heater. Once we pick this up, we will advance the age. So welcome to age 1. So I don't know if I mentioned going from the tutorial age to age 0. As you increase the ages, more things open up and become not only visible in the world, but also available to craft. So before we had just 16 pages of items, and now we're up to 47. The last thing I wanted to touch on, and we automatically get the Tinker's book, so we'll be going over that a little bit later once we find some metals and start talking about Tinker's itself, is the bear claw paxel. So I've been having some of the grizzly bears spawn on my island from time to time, and they drop these bear claws. So you put 5 of those together with a couple of sticks, you get the bear claw paxel. I highly recommend making this if you've got it. It is a little bit difficult to upkeep because you don't get the bear claws too very often to be able to fix it up, but it is handy. It's a really decent weapon because it's got a fast attack speed, and it also will triple up as both a weapon, a shovel, and a pickaxe. Although just be aware that there are some blocks that it cannot break. So most notably marble it can't break, and there's going to be a few other things that it won't be able to break. So if you're going to be using that as your main tool, you know, if you've got lots of bear claws around to be able to repair it, that's great. This is a wonderful item in both age 0 and age 1. Just be aware that, you know, you might want to carry around an extra stone pickaxe or bronze pickaxe, what have you, just so that when you come across those blocks that the paxel won't break very easily, that you have a way to get through it. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a good one, and I will see you on the next one. Oh, just one other thing. While I was out flying around and about, I did find some mulberry trees. I know what they look like from playing the first version, but they have a light greenish, yellowish color to them. I wish I'd brought my bone meal, so back. All right, let's see if we can't grow. Figures it wouldn't grow, but yeah, that's fine. Maybe it's because the flower is kicking around beside it. That happens from time to time. anyways, yeah, be on the lookout for that. Now that we have Wayla, I can actually see that it's a mulberry sapling, but in age 0 you won't have that advantage, and you'll just have to know by the colors. Just be careful because there's the autumnal trees, which have some yellows and oranges and stuff like that, so it can be a bit difficult to differentiate between a regular oak in the autumnal forest and the mulberries. But once you get it in your inventory, of course, you'll be able to see that it's a mulberry sapling regardless of which age you're in. Working on some of the landscaping around here and getting everything flattened out. I had left it here because I had all these rocks, which I knew were going to be core samples in the end, so I left those there for now. Glad to see that they're all revealed so I can finish terraforming my island in between episodes. So when you see me next time, things will be much, much different. And it looks like my island's got a whole bunch of copper on it, which is really good because copper is really intensive in this pack, so I'll definitely be collecting up all of that. I've kind of avoided digging down into my island because when you don't know that the copper is there, it can be tricky. I did do a little exploratory one just to find some gravel earlier, but that was it. And then now I'll be going down into my island pretty hardcore to set up some mob spawning places, and yeah, I'm going to build a platform down there so that if I'm flying back to my island, I don't have to rely on landing in the waterfall and then climbing my way back up the waterfall, because I've got knocked out of the waterfall by sharks as well. So yeah, a little bit of a safety net while flying around between the islands, because yeah, using the piggyback to get sheep back here was a complete nightmare because they do not like going up the waterfall at all. Now we're going to end it. I appreciate you all again, and take care.